Hello, this is Nippon from Nippon Studio. So great to see you guys again in 2025. So we are kind of haven't seen each other for a long time now. So congratulations to all of us, and I really appreciated your support. Watching tutorials and I don't know, comments or anything like that. So this is very exciting day for us because today we're going to learn something very special and very cool effects. So without any further ado, so let's check it out. And action. Alright, so this is how it's going to look like in the final products, you know, in the final visual effect shot for us. So basically, I think you kind of get the gist of an ideas of how it could be done, I suppose. But before I go into that, I want to be openly to tell you guys that this whole thing is just a stock footage. You know, there's no any third plugins that you need. So it might be some that I use for this, but it doesn't even change much of the things. So alright, so if you want to see how the original footage is this one. There you go. So this is a very free stock footage from Pixels, which you can Google it or however you can get the shot, something like this. But again, the idea is to get the shots like this, you know, with a real camera movement, and also we can kind of change the background or alter something alongside the way that we want it, according to how it is. And again, as we see here right now, you know, it's very accurate way how the camera moves and everything, because obviously we use a camera tracking. But you know, that's the point, you know, and that's what we're going to be learning today, and trying to understand how it works. And maybe you can use this technique and apply to your own shots, you know. So without any further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so first of all, you need a footage, you know, and in this case I have this, again, free stock footage. You could use any footage, but again, if you're already familiar with the technique of how we use the camera tracking, then I think there's some few things that you have to think about. First of all, you know, the shot shouldn't be much of a complication in terms of the camera movements. Or I don't know, if it's a drone shot, then I think this is fine as well. But if it's going way crazy and, you know, spinning around or something like doing gymnastic flip or things like that, I think that would be really difficult or maybe impossible to do it. So I mean, with this particular shot, I mean, this is pretty good because again, the lady, she was bicycle. She was on bicycles and on a street, and as you can see, I mean, her body and the object itself, it's not as huge or big in order to cover the whole scene, you know. So that might be something that you should keep in mind. And At the same time, you know, particularly this shots, there are so many tracking shot that we can use. Basically the whole shots, you know, there's a whole bunch of things with the real geometry, so I think that would be very helpful, you know. So I mean, these are the things that you should keep in mind, or maybe you already knew it. So all right, let's get to it. Okay, so first of all, I will going to drag it into a new composition, so like this. Alright, so we can hit play and see how it's going, something like this. So this is pretty good how we started. I mean, this is how long the shot is, only like 3 seconds. So first of all, we have to track it. So very easy. So you can just click on our footage and then go to tracking. So in this case, it's not up here yet. So I'm gonna go to window and then go to tracker. It's going to open up this one, and obviously we're gonna use a track camera. So hit on it. And it will take a little while, depends on how long the shots is and how and what's the, you know, the resolution, you know. Is it like a full HD, 4K, 2K, whatever, you know. And again, I mean the duration of the shot too, and how complicated it is. So it will take a while. Alright, so it's already done tracking. So as we can see, there's a whole bunch of these sweet tracking points for us. All right, so next step, you just, you know, hit create camera. There you go. All right, so these are the thing. Okay, skip tour. Okay, so what it does, it's going to create 3D tracker camera. So I could just lock it, so we're not going to do anything with it. And let's close these. And next step, we could just find where's the ground that you want it to be. In this case, these are good ground, you know. All right, let's go a little further. Okay, the reason I'm going a little further here because I can see the point where it could be tracked over here too. You know, before this it was nothing here, so I'm gonna start something like this, and let's find a big plane. You know, a plate. You know, a big plane that we can use. Maybe this one. Again, I'm holding on Control on the keyboard, and let's point this and this and this. Voila. Now you can see this circle thingy is kind of tell you what's the angle and how it's going to be. So I think that's pretty good. You can add one more here. There you go. And then right click and then create solid. All right, something like this. So I think this is a very good way to start. You can increase the size, something like this. And if you want to make sure if this plate even, you know, stick on to our shot, you can use the effect grid, type in, and then throw it in. Alright, so let's stretch it out, maybe decrease it a bit, you know, so there you go. Like that. I think that is pretty good, I suppose, right? At some degree. Alright, I think that's a really good starting point. Okay, so the next thing is you have to decide what do you want the character going to be on. You know, for example, like my example is I'm using a very big field of like a Grand Canyon look kinda. So right now let's think about like what do we want here. So let's find some, you know, asset that we can use. Alright, so I have some sort of a assets here. So they all still picture, you know, something like this, you know. So you know what, this is a very good start for using use it to be a ground. So let's try that. So before I'm going to replace on it, let me duplicate it. So hit it on Control D like that. So let's shut it off and let's replace this. So very easy, you could just click on the plate that we want. So at this moment it's a solid, and then hold on Alt, you know, and then drag it and replace it. There you go, let go. And obviously we have to get rid of the grid. Okay, so right now what you see here, this is pretty good like this. Okay, right, so if you want to move it around, I don't really recommend it if you want to move it like this. I would rather have you move the anchor point, so very easy. So hit A, you know, and then move it like this, because I believe that the point where it's been tracked, it's already in its right position. So I don't think it's a good idea if you want to move it around like that. All right, so the next thing would be a little crucial. There's not much of a what do you call it, a shortcut. Basically, if we want this to be underneath her, so basically we have to roto her off from the background, you know. I think we all know that this is a very painstaking process, but guys, there's no ways that we can't skip this process. All right, so actually I do have a really good tutorials on this part if you want to check it out, which is this one, by using a roto brush, so you can check that out. So in meanwhile, I'm going to do that and then I'm gonna fast forward to it. All right, so what I have here, I already roto her out and I render it out as a alpha channel, so black, white, gray basically. And what you see here, it's pretty rough way to using a roto brush. I do use a little technique here and there, but again, mainly it's just roto brush here, guys. All right, so what I can do, I could just drag it here. Before I'm doing anything, I'm going to pre-comp it, so you can press Control-Shift-C. I'm gonna leave it like that. So I could just drag my original footage like this. So what we have here is the alpha channel, the one that I did, and our original on the bottom. So actually this is the order of it, it doesn't matter, but this is how I kind of get used to it now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it as a track matte. So basically it's here. If it's not, open it up, you can just hit F4 on the very top of your keyboard. So I'm gonna pick it and then point to this thing. Again, this is not how it works because this is like a using only track matte, but I'm going to use it as a Luma matte. So you could just click on this again. Voila, that's it. You know, it's a Luma matte. So right now I have my characters on a very, you know, transparent background, which is what we want. So before that, let me give her a color. Let's make it green. All right, so right now I think you kind of know where I'm going. So I could just use this ground that we just put it here, put it underneath like this, and let's play it. Voila. That's looking good, isn't it? Right. Okay, maybe not the best yet, but so far so good, yeah? Okay. Alright, so actually this one, I can kind of scale it down a bit. Something like this. And again, you know, if it's like not complete, I suppose I can use a effect. It's called motion tile. There you go. Drop it. And then I'm going to use mirror edges, and then I'm going to expand it. So that way and this way. There you go. I'm trying not to go crazy about it, but there. I think you get the idea. So what it does is it's going to expand all the edges, you know, from this to this. Something like that. All right. Okay. All right. So I think right now what we can do is try to match the color. So I'm going to come here to color correction, throw in exposure, and then color balance. Again, this is depends on your own technique and how you do it. You know, you could either use curve or maybe lumetri color or something like that. It's fine, you know, fine by me. So let me increase it a little touch here, and let me play around with the mid-tone, a little reddish, yellowish, or bluish. Okay, something like this, I suppose. Okay, I think that's somewhat good there. So right, next thing is I can do a little variation on the surface here. So as you already know, the way it's how the picture is, and for example like this, as you can see the blackness of the bicycle itself, and the blackness that further away, it will not, how to put it, it won't have the same black levels, because the haze, maybe the lights and smoke and who know what, it will interfere in our scene. In this case, you could just call it like a an ambient, to the shot. Since I already do color correction here, by using exposure and color balance, it's already applied to the whole thing. But what I need is just like very small portion of it, like when it really close to us as a camera. So I think this is another tricky thing to do with, but it's not that difficult. Basically what I'm going to do, I'm just going to right click, new, and then create adjustment layer. So let's put it underneath here, and then use exposure again. So I'm going to bring down the gamma. There you go. And then probably using this eclipse tool, like this. Okay, and then let's feather it out, hit F. Alright, something like this. So as you can see here, so the closer to the character, the more contrast or the black level would be, something like this. So that means that, okay, let me just put the name to it. So that means this one, maybe I'll push up a little more on offset, Alright, something like this. Alright, and then I'll probably come back to exposure and bring it down a touch, and with this too. There you go. I think you kind of get the gist of an idea of what I'm doing here, right? Something like this. Yeah? Okay, good. So the next thing is, let's do the background. Okay, what do we have? Before that, I probably have to go back to 3D camera tracker and find the background where I want to replace something there. Right click, create solid. There you go. Now we have something there. So what do I have here? Alright, I have this icy and rocky. Very nice. Okay, let's see if I can use it. So I'm gonna hold on Alt again, drag it down. Alright, I probably have to flip it up. There you go. And maybe let's scale it. And obviously I have to bring it down, here. The lighting is not matched, so I'm just going to right click, transform, and flip horizontal. There you go. And this case again, it's way too high, so I could hit A, bring it down a bit like this. Again, I think this is really up to you how big of the thing that you want. So let's do something like this. How's that? That's looking good actually. But you know what? Actually, I probably only need the rock, or what is it? An island? A small island? I don't know. Not the whole thing. So I probably have to do this in Photoshop if you do know how, and I suppose you do. If not, you could mask it, in After Effects. But I'm going to jump into Photoshop real quick. Alright, so here I am in Photoshop. So basically, right now Photoshop, it's go further way beyond our imagination. As we all know, there's a lot of features that we can use. Basically right now, let's try and remove background. Just hit it and let's see the result. Oh, there you go, that's it. Voila. I don't know what else to do with it. I'm just gonna crop it so it's not too crazy. Something like this. Alright, since it's going to be flipped, so I think I suppose I'm going to flip it here. There you go. Alright, and now I'm gonna save it as a Photoshop file. It's fine. Hit save. Alright, let's come back to this, and then I'm going to import it in again. There, I'm going to replace it again. Hold on Alt, and then drag it down. Alright, I probably have to flip it back, since before that we flop horizontal it, remember? So, alright, click A. So I'm going to create this, and you know what, maybe I want it to be huge, like a massive huge, and maybe tilt it a little bit. There you go. Alright, that's looking good. That's cool. Okay, keep it that way. Alright, so let's find something further away, like a further way back background. So these points are very small. If you want to see it, you could just increase the size by going to this track point size right there. So you could grab that, maybe grab that, and then right click, create solid. There you go. Alright, let me get a good sky, what I can use here. This is good. This is good, actually. Oh, I don't want these two guys. Alright, you know what? Let's go back to Photoshop. Okay, so I think you already know what I'm going to do. I already kind of go briefly about it. So basically, generative field, and then remove. I mean, you could use your own old-fashioned, like using clone stamp or healing brush or whatever. So but this is like, yeah, this is a tool, an AI tool that it's helpful, it's good for us. It's not going to replace us by any mean yet. All right, let's use, oh, they even create what, a seagull, a bird or something. Okay, there, I think that's good. A little fish or penguin, or what is this? Okay, I don't care. It's fine. Okay, save. Okay, now let's go back to After Effects. Let me import it in. There you go. And then click on the solid that we want, and then hold on Alt, and then drag it, replace it, voila. Okay, let's see. Let me flip it a bit, and let me expand it. Okay, alright, I'm going to drag it down here. So that's our background. So basically, again, you know, click A and then bring up the anchor point, and that's when we can move things around. And again, you know, it's been cut off, so why don't we just use the same effect, you know, motion tile. Alright, so basically I'll do that again. So click on mirror edges, and then expand the width. There you go. It might look a little strange, but I hope there's nobody will notice. I don't know. Alright, so something like this. This is looking good. Alright, so now let's do some fun thing about it, which is, you know, let's doing some comping. Alright, so the rock itself, I don't know. Alright, so using exposure again, and then I'm going to use color balance. So let's see, the rock should be more dull, maybe contrast a little too much, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to open up the mid-tone, and then alter the color just a bit. I suppose that works. You think so? Okay. Alright, and then the next thing, the background, you know, again, exposure. So let's try that. Increase it, and then offset, bring it up. There you go. Oh wow, this is looking pretty good, actually. Wow. And you can see, you know, it's not like a flat 2D, well, it is a 2D flat PNG kind of thing, but look how the way it moves, you know. you can see like there's a dimension to it. So again, I mean that means that you can create however that layers that you want. Let's say for example, actually you know what, I have this rock too, so let me go back to Photoshop and then open this up. Alright, again, let's remove background and see. Voila. Oh dang it, I like this rock too. You know what, let me just select object then. Let's see how it goes. Oh, okay, dang it. Okay, never mind, I'm going to use this, you know, select tool. Really depends on what you like to use, but I'm using this, it's fine. I need a little bit of the ground as well, so that, yo, why so okay. All right, there, that's looking good. Yeah. All right, reverse it and then delete. Okay, that's all I need. Let's crop it a bit. Right, now save as Photoshop file. Let's go back to After Effects. Let me import it in. Alright, now I have one. So let's see if I want this one. So let's say if I want to create more like a how to put depth or dynamic with dimension to it, you know, I could just duplicate this one, this rock, you know, hit Control D, and then I'll lock this one, and then I'm going to replace this one, you know, with the new rock that we got. So sorry again, so hold on Alt and then drag it down. Okay, dang it, that's pretty big. All right, so actually that's looking good, but again, it looks like they are in the same what do you call it, in the same Z depth, you know, or the same area, you know. And actually I think you kind of know you're not supposed to move the Z axis because that will kind of messed up the point where it's already been tracked. But in this case, this would be exceptional, you know, but again, there's a limit to it, okay? Don't go crazy to it. So again, I'm gonna click A, you know, bring up the anchor point. I'm gonna push it, the Z axis back a little bit, and then maybe scale it down. So like this, and then let's move it here, and now let's play. There, you know, as you can see, these two rock are in different axes now. Okay, maybe this rock should flip. I'll flip it. Okay, right click, transform, and flip horizontal. Oh dang it, that's the problem. Actually, you know what, maybe leave it there. I'm gonna use it like that, and then push it a little further, or maybe even more further. You could just hold on shift. Okay, let's see. There you go. That looks great. All right, again, I have to alter this a bit, so maybe round it up, offset, I'll punch it up. And again, this is the same principle that we talked about it before. So the further the object gets, and for this very particular shot with the snowy kind of thing, as you can see, that's why the haze, you know, and maybe snow, maybe fog, I don't know, you know, that's what kind of obscures and make things more tend to look flat, you know, or grayish, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, that's why this option offset really helps a lot, you know. All right, so let's bring it down a bit. Okay, there you go, you know, there. All right, let's see. That's good. That's good. That's really good. Okay, you know what? All right, let's you know what? Let me find another place. Oh, we can't see. So let's solo it. Okay, maybe the rock here. I will do it there. Okay, right click, create solid. There you go. Okay. Okay, again, I'm going to use the same rock that we just doing Photoshop. Hold on, Alt again, drag it along, and then, all right, okay, let's tilt it there, increase the size. Again, we have to flip it because the light direction, you know, transform, flip, and then drag it down all the way there. All right, okay, there. Let me move it there. Actually, you know what happened? It just collide with our background, which is this one. You know, that's why it's been like pow inside. You know, so this is again, you might think, oh, why don't we just move it up here? You know, it doesn't help. I mean, you might already know, because when we're working with a 3D options, the order of the layer doesn't matter anymore. So the easiest way is to create another adjustment layer to break it up. So right click, new adjustment layer, and then drag it down, put it in between, give it a break. There you go. You know, so they're not colliding one another again. All right, so I could just doing like this. Okay, let's so then see. Okay, that's good. Let me bring it up and then pull it up. Oh wow, this is looking very manifesting epic. But actually really cool. Good gracious, I got goosebumps. All right, okay, maybe we might have to fix this. Okay, let's go back to Photoshop a bit. In this case, actually, you know what, maybe I'm just going to use this, and then I don't need you anymore, sorry, and then hit save. Let's come back. Okay, there you go, that's good. Okay, that's great. Okay, actually, you know what, let me just get where's the guy? There. I'm going to get all the effects, you know, these two, copy, and then paste. All right, maybe two doll, you know. Let's bring it down a touch, brighten it up a touch. There you go. Now let's see it. Oh wow, what a thing. This is looking pretty good. Okay, great. Let's see, what can we do? You know what, these looking pretty bad. What kind of a very straight line for this thing? So we gotta find a way to blend it. So there are so many ways to do it, but you know what, I'm just going to use a very cheat code to it. So basically it's like this. All right, so we know this one is here, right? So I'm going to right click, new solid. I'm going to make something like this white. All right, and hit OK. Okay, bring it down. So I'm gonna hit F4, you know, to bring up this, and I'm gonna open it up as a 3D plane. And again, click on this one, you know, the one that we want, and then click P. It's going to open up the position. So we're going to copy this and then go to our solid, hit P again, and then click on position and paste, which is, you know, Control V, or however that you do it. All right, something like this. I could just increase the size, and again, A, you know, bring it up to the top, something like this. Actually, you know what, I could just stretch it all the way like this. There you go. So what you see here, and I think you kind of know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to blend between the floor, which is this icy, and the what is it, the rock here, by creating some sort of like foggy kind of look. So I could just use a rectangle, mask it like this, and then hit F, you know, open up the feather, and then could just feather it up something like this. There you go. There, you know, then obviously it's going to help us blend at some level between the contact point, between the thing and the thing. There's so many things. All right, so I think this is a good start, but again, I mean, there will be still some of the contact point where it's the very harsh kind of. This is where I think you can get creative. So first of all, I have these. Again, it's not a footage, it's just a still image, something like this. Very low resolution, I admit it. It's just like 400, 200, and something like this. This is a good point to start. Maybe, let's use this. All right, let's get creative. Again, we already know the position of this one, so I'm just gonna duplicate it again, and maybe just take out the mask, and then again, hold on Alt, and then drag this all the way here. All right, so what I got is something like this. I could just bring it up a little bit. Now maybe it doesn't really matter that much, but there. Okay, something like this. So I want to create some sort of like an environment. Again, this would be really helpful if you have like a stock footage, like a smoke or haze or something like that. But in this case, I don't think it's matter, because again, it's very far away, and again, I don't think we're going to have like that kind of big budget yet. All right, so what I'm going to do is go to channel, and we're going to use the effect called set matte and throw it in. There you go. Okay, let's solo it, and then going to use from matte, we're going to use luminance. So what it does, it's take out the black background, basically almost like keying, but it's kind of much easier. I don't know, depends on how you use it. All right, so let's unsolo it. So you can see it, but you barely see it. So we could just use curve, throwing down curve. So this is something that exposure cannot do, which is bring up the alpha. So here, if you go to curve and then open up channel to alpha, you can punch it up, right? Or bring it down, however you want. So let me punch it up and then bring down this. There you go. Okay, something like this. So basically, to make it more visible, right? Something like this. Okay, scale it up. There you go. And the next thing, of course, we have to do the color. So I could just use a where is it now? Tritone here. Throw it in, and then just point to the color where you want it. I suppose it would be somewhat white, and maybe not. Okay, there you go. There, I could just stretch it, and I think you can kind of see it's something is there. So I'm going to use this, pen tool masking, basically like that. All right, and F feathering. Okay, and let's see. Voila, there you go. That's good. Actually, I mean, you can actually, you can keyframe the position like this, and then like move it like this to simulate like how it, like a foggy smoke move. But I don't know if you like it. Well, but actually it's looking really good. All right, whatever. I'm going to duplicate it again. Control D. This one I probably don't want it to move, so I'm just gonna unchecked the stopwatch here. And again, this is one of the things you might have to remind yourself every time when you duplicate something and you want to reuse it. You have to make sure that the set matte sets to its own layer. So in this case, you see it's set matte to layer 7. So right now, actually itself is the 6, so we have to go to the 6. Okay, all right, so I could just move it a little bit and then stretch it a little bit. Maybe rise it up a little bit there, and maybe I could bring it down just a touch, something like that. Maybe this one could be a little wider, and then rather than push it up, maybe I'll go to hit A and then bring it up to like that. Dang, this is pretty good. Okay, let's see it. Oh wow, Great, 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 great. Very great. Okay, all right. The next thing, let's cover this up a little bit. You know, where's this mountain again? Okay, it's there. So again, Control D, duplicate it, and then let's find something interesting. What about this one? Nah. What about this one? Looking. You know, maybe this one. All right. Hold on. Alt again. Drag it down to replace it. There. All right. So next thing, you know what? Actually, I could just copy these effects. You know, hold on Shift and Control C. Copy, copy. Let's go to this and then increase it. Delete these and then Control V. Paste. And what's going on? All right, so again, as I said, you know, right now the layer is 11, so I have to hold on to 11. There you go. Okay, maybe too much of this. Okay, all right, let's see. Where does it go? Hit A, bring it up to the front. Oh, there you go. Bring it down. Oh, this is looking very awesome. Realistic in a way. Wow, this is cool. All right, maybe we have to fix this edge. So could just use rectangle and then subtract. Hit F, feather. All right. That. Okay. Let's see. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Drag it along a little bit. I don't know if we need curve. Do we? You know, for the sake of it, right now, probably not. Okay, that's cool, that's cool. Okay, this is looking pretty good, but why is this thing keep coming up again? You know, the hard seam between the thing and the thing. Alright, so basically is this one, I think something's wrong because these are kind of like collided and crashing with our white solid. So basically very easy fix. So new adjustment layer, so we know this is the floor. So I'm going to move this one, the white solid, up here. There you go, fix. Good, good, good. Alright, this is very, very good looking and looking good. You know, alright, so maybe I wanna try this one again. So by duplicate it again, and let's find, I think I have somewhat interesting here. Oh, this is looking good, but probably not. Oh, let's try this one. Alright, so hold on, Alt again, drag it down. You know, okay, let's see. We need to do the set map to itself, then 12. There you go. Alright, oh, actually I want to flip it. Transform, flip. Okay, I might have to move the mask to the other side. There you go. Okay, good. Now I could just push it up, or you could just click A again and bring it up. You know, and pull it up here. Drag it a little bit there. You could just decrease the sides, I don't know, however you want. And let's see, you know, at least it will give you a very different dimension to it. You know, there's a depth to it as well. And again, you can still keyframe, you know, keyframe the thing to make it look like it's moved like this, you know, up to you. So it's just an idea. Alright, let me move it a bit. I don't want it to obscure too much of my mountains. Okay, that's good. That's good. Wow. Look what we've done. This is pretty well done. Visual effects. Alright, so the next thing, again, we can keep adding more and more, okay? But, I mean, right now, I think we're good there. Maybe, you know what, I'm just gonna give it a little spice to it. So, let's see. Alright, I have here, going to Control D, duplicate it again. And what I got here is a ray light, you know, here. Actually, you could just draw it, or you could just find it on Google, you know, it's a ray light, basically. So I'm just gonna drag it down, hold on Alt, you know, drag it down here and increase the size. Let's turn it a little bit, and then, you know, I'm just gonna move it like that easily. All right, and obviously it's way too saturated. I'm just going to use hue and saturation. Maybe I don't need this. Okay, bring it down, and then right click, blending mode, and screen. Voila, there you go. What a holy light there. Okay, there. Okay, stretch it, and I'll drag it like this. Is it too fancy? I don't know. Alright, cranked it down a little bit. I think that's looking pretty dang good. Again, you could play around with opacity however you feel like, but that is really good. Okay, alright, so seems like this tutorial going to be one of the long ones, so obviously I decided to split into 2 parts, not to make it overwhelming you guys. So I'll see you guys in the second part.